78 Sports TV here. Salute to the mighty LDBC. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified when I drop a new video. And if you're digging the video, go ahead and share this joint. So, Keith one-time Thurman is set to return to the ring. First time in about 3 years. He'll be returning in Sydney, Australia, I believe, to face a guy named Brock Jarvis. Brock Jarvis is a knockout artist from Australia. Hasn't fought nobody worth talking about, but he has knocked out the chumps he has fought. Shout out to him. Now, Keith Thurman is a huge step up for him, but Keith Thurman, like I said, hasn't been in the ring in 3 years. So this is going to be interesting. This could either make Brock Jarvis a superstar or a star at least, especially a hero in his hometown, or let Keith Thurman back into the game. Now, interestingly enough, I heard this fight is going to be at 147, which is strange to me, seeing as though Keith Thurman has been out of the ring for about 3 years. You would think he would want to come up and fight at a heavier weight. But Keith Thurman never had a problem making 147. He always came in at like 146, 145, somewhere up in there. So, I don't know what kind of shape he keeps himself in outside the ring, but we'll see how that all works out for him. Now, my question here is this. Is this a PBC promoted fight, or is this being promoted by someone else? Okay, that's what I need to find out. Is Keith Thurman still with the PBC? Is he still being represented by Al Heyman and all that type of stuff? I want to know because I'm trying to figure out how Keith Thurman got a fight before Errol Spence, right? I'm just trying to figure it out, right? And it would help if Earl would come out and do some interviews and talk to people, communicate with his fans and let everybody know what's going on. Just with all due respect, just let people know what's going on with you so people won't speculate. Because one thing I can't stand, and Terrence Crawford be doing this too, but Terrence Crawford will do more interviews than Earl. But one thing I can't stand is when fighters put cryptic messages up on their social media where you don't put a name on it, you don't say exactly what you mean. So fans are like, oh, what is he saying? So content creators make videos based off of this cryptic message, and then they start sneak this and saying stuff like, oh, these people just be saying anything on the internet. They don't know what they're talking about. Could you explain what it is that you're talking about? It seems like you guys just want people talking about y'all, but y'all don't want to explain. Like, it's childish, bro. Just let people know what it is. If you can't talk about it, then fine. All right, but anyway, Errol Spence, in my opinion, and Keith Thurman should be the fight, the return fight for both of them. Both of them been out of the ring for a while. Both of them rusty. It's no need to build the fight up no more. It's really no need to build it up. They can come right in, fight each other, get on out the way. But I don't know if Earl is still upset with Keith, because once upon a time, when Keith Thurman was the welterweight champion of the world, unified welterweight champion of the world, Keith Thurman did duck Errol Spence. Sadly, he did duck him. You know what I'm saying? I was a huge Keith Thurman fan, so, I was right there, front row seats for the whole thing. Low key, I kind of co-signed the duck a little bit because I didn't know that it was going to lead to this. I thought that Floyd Mayweather was using Errol Spence as like a buffer in between. Like, because Keith Thurman had worked his way up for a Floyd fight. He worked himself up to a Floyd fight, Adrian Broner fight, a Manny Pacquiao fight, and a lot of them guys, the big name boxing guys at the time at 147, was ducking Keith Thurman. He was a young, up-and-coming, powerful guy, knocking people out. That's back when he was one time. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was, once Keith Thurman got to the position to fight Floyd Mayweather, Floyd said, "Oh, I think Keith Thurman and Errol Spence need to fight." And I put one of my belts on the line. I give up one of my belts and let them fight. It was like the lamest stuff I ever heard, but everybody was co-signing it because they didn't want to see Keith Thurman fight Floyd. So it's kind of how people be doing Tank now. Everybody was like, glazing over Floyd. Like, oh yeah, Floyd right, man. Floyd ain't got to fight him, man. Floyd gonna give up one of his belts, whatever. So I'm like, bro, Errol Spence is a youngster. He only got like 15 fights or something, whatever it was at the time. I knew Earl was good, but I just didn't think at the time Earl had put in the work to come in and skip line and require Keith Thurman to give him his undivided attention. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't no disrespect against Earl. It was just that I felt like Keith Thurman had done enough to get those big names at the time. So Keith Thurman dismissed Earl, right? And I supported it at the time. Then, everybody kept saying like, "Hey man, yeah, let Earl get the belt first. Unify. It could be a unified fight. Let Earl get the belt. You know what I'm saying?" So I think Keith Thurman had a belt. If I'm not mistaken, it was the WB. I can't remember if it was the WBA or WBC, whichever one he had. I think it was WBC he had first. I can't remember. But Errol Spence got the IBF belt by beating Kell Brook. So then, from there, Errol Spence is steady calling on Keith Thurman, and then I started seeing some weird energy from Keith. As a fan, I started seeing Keith Thurman started acting scared. Like he started he started talking about losing. Like, well, my trainer always told me, it's okay to lose. So one day, well, I might not be the best welterweight. I might be number 2. And I might. He just started talking weird. Like, bro, where's this? Every time Errol Spence's name came up, he started talking weird. Like his energy would shift. He would go from being the big bad wolf, I huff and I puff and I blow your house down, to all of a sudden now he talking about, how life is bigger than boxing and the stars and the moon. You know what I'm saying? And weird stuff. I'm like, okay, Keith is wild. So I knew he was scared at that point. But Keith Thurman went on to fight. Like I said, he fought Sean Porter, Danny Garcia's of the world. Keith was doing his thing, right? And Errol Spence fought Kell Brook. Those two never clashed. Keith Thurman dismissed Errol Spence with just saying how, the fight had happened one day and blah, blah, blah. He was putting it off. And then tables turn. Okay? This is a crucial part. The tables turn. Keith Thurman goes up in there with Manny Pacquiao, right? And gets beat by Manny Pacquiao, right? Gets dropped in the first round and, got beat by Manny Pacquiao. Now, I thought Keith Thurman, technically, I thought he won the fight, but I wasn't going to cry for him because he was acting too brand new. Even though he said he had all this negative stuff to say about Floyd Mayweather when Floyd was on top, how he was saying Floyd and Pacquiao was ducking. And he said when he get on top, he ain't going to do none of that. And as soon as he got there, he started acting brand new. Super brand new. So anyway, Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman. Pacquiao got the belt. Errol Spence at that moment wanted nothing else to do with Keith Thurman. His eyes were set on, okay, I want Pacquiao now. Errol and Pacquiao fight never happened because Errol had an issue with his eye due to a car accident situation. And I think Errol ended up fighting Ugas. I think he fought Ugas for the belt. I'm sorry, man. I don't know if I'm getting old or something. My memory is slipping, man. I think he fought Ugas for the belt, and he unified with Ugas. Errol did. Right? So from that, Errol Spence moves on to fight Terrence Crawford, and he lost to Terrence Crawford. But Errol Spence had said at that time he's not fighting Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman wasn't checking for him. When he wanted to fight Keith Thurman didn't want to check for him. And now the tables turned. Keith Thurman needed a handout. I ain't giving it to him type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's what happened with that. But I'm extremely disappointed that the PBC has not got a fight for Errol Spence yet. Keith Thurman and Errol Spence was the fight that everybody wanted to see. And I understand Errol's perspective, but I think at this point, they should make that fight happen if they can. I think it's still that's one of the last fights out there from the old school that can still make some money. You know what I'm saying? That's like a 10-year-old fight about 10 years ago, and it can still make money right now, just like Wilder and Joshua can still make money right now. So that's just my 2 cents. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Keith Thurman. The dude he fighting, like I said, he a knockout artist, but he ain't really fought nobody. Let me know what y'all think. Smash that like button, share the video. Above all things, make sure y'all go subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/78 Sports TV. Check it out, man. Come on over there, get some of that good game. We up out of here. Deuces.